Hey YouTube, this is Tony. So this is going to be the second part where we're going to be finishing up the Hordes book. For those of you who have not seen the first one, we are covering the Hordes Rulebook so that we can go ahead and in a later video show the actual how-tos of playing the game for those of you who have never taken the time or have not started playing a war game and are looking to get into one. This would be a good starting place. So, if I could, I'm going to go ahead and have you. There we go. So this first half of the book, as I pointed out in the first video, really was about, oh gosh, I don't even know, 60 pages worth of the rules, and the rest of the book is, a hodgepodge of stuff. Some of the things that they go over is how to make terrain. How to paint your miniatures. They go over the individual armies, the strengths and weaknesses of each, as well as how to compile each of the armies with the basic formations that they have. And they go through, like I said, each faction, and there currently are 5 factions within Hordes. First of which being Trollbloods, and then the second of which that is in the book, I believe is, let me cycle over to this, not that it's important, but the second one is Circle of Warboros, and then the third one is Scorn, and finally the fourth one is going to be the Legion of Everblight. So, as you go through, you may want to read up on the fluff. The nice thing about this rulebook is you don't need to go out and buy subsequent rulebooks like you do in Warhammer 40k or Warhammer Fantasy. Not only do you have the core rulebook that you have to purchase, you also have these supplemental army books. What's beneficial about the way Privateer Press has designed this book is that in the top of each of the characters' bio page, they have all of the stat information that you need represented in the top up here. Now, along with purchasing the models, you'll also have a card, a physical card that will come with each of the models to make sure that you have every piece of information that you need to properly play that character, and then you can simply reference this book for the generic rules as you go through the game. So again, just find out which of the factions best suits your needs. We'll have another video on each of the factions to go through and kind of give a better depiction of how each one will function and operate. And hopefully that helps some of you out. So finally, the last portions of this book, as we go through, let me go back to the back section here. They show all the miniatures that are displayed in the book, just to kind of give you a general idea of what they look like and how the paint job can serve on the models, because remember, these come unpainted. You will have to paint these yourselves and assemble them. But painting is usually the trickier of the two. So if I go into the back portion here, this is usually where I thought this was a much better experience when looking at the Privateer Press rulebook as opposed to the rulebooks that have come out by Games Workshop. For new people, Games Workshop sort of leaves you out on your own to discover how to paint your miniatures, how to assemble your miniatures, how to collect all the resources you need to build terrain, and they assume it's your hobby, you'll figure it out. With Privateer Press, they give you assistance in getting off the ground because there is a lot that goes into wargaming hobbies. So part of what they do in their rulebook is not only do they create pages that talk about all of the information that you'll need in terms of resources and guides and videos that can help you learn about this kind of stuff, they also give you how-tos on tutorials on assembling, as well as tutorials on painting for some of the more professional looking detail that usually is accompanied by some of the more artistic methods, such as dry brushing and using washes and highlights. Whereas someone who doesn't necessarily know how to do all of that may come up with a model like this that's very generic looking, and as you go through, you may end up with a model that looks significantly better with just a couple other added touches that maybe you didn't know about unless you went out and figured out these resources on your own. So this book is very, very useful to new people. I think it was a fantastic foresight by Privateer Press to be able to put this kind of publication together. This last section covers how to make terrain from scratch which again is something that's very, very helpful for new people, especially since whenever you're playing with friends, you usually don't go out and buy a bunch of terrain. You usually make it to fit the environment that you are playing with. So a popular one would be, as an example, if you were playing Trollbloods or Circle of Warbros, you would probably build out forest terrain to match the environment at which your particular group would come from and actually fight in. So in the very back of the book, they do have, there we go, this very last page, they do have the blast templates and all of the measuring templates for you to photocopy if you do not have the finance to go out and purchase these outright. Because like I said, they are going to be different than Warhammer 40k and Warhammer Fantasy templates. So if money is an issue immediately, you can go out and photocopy these and then cut them out and just use them on the table as a little piece of paper or measuring area. So that's the rulebook. So if you guys have any questions or want to make any comments about anything you'd like to see regarding this particular book, let me know. Feel free to subscribe, and we'll see you in another video.